Hello. I just thought that I would turn on the camera and have a little chit chat with you here in the forest. I feel like I'm the only person around. Most people are either at work or at school, and it's very quiet here. It's lovely because there's lots of shade, and so it's not too hot here. And the way here was very hot. I was debating whether I should close my shop. I loved the experience, well, most of it, but I closed it because it was very seasonal, and I made it all nice. I brought my sewing machine and everything, so I always had stuff to do. But yeah, as a business it didn't make any sense, because unfortunately people now, they like things that are mass produced, and I just didn't feel that that's the kind of business I wanted to have. So my business, my shop, sold mostly, I had some mass produced stuff, but most of the things were made by local people here, or at least in Portugal. And I believe that we need more stuff like that. I believe that we need more independent shops. We need more stuff made by humans. And I'm just tired of everything being so fast and so disposable. But a business only makes sense if you can convince enough people that that's the best. And at the same time, I feel like financially it's more expensive to have something that was handmade rather than something brought in from China. I don't know if you've been to Portugal, but at every corner we have a Chinese shop, it's like a pound shop, but it's not a pound shop because everything has different prices, but it sells a bunch of stuff that people need. They have lots of variety and lots of quantity, and basically, at least in Portugal and Spain, there's lots of those shops. At least there's one in every town, and basically they sell everything that you can think of. Literally, like everything for the home, clothes, detergents, everything. Seems like I'm advertising for it. I'm not, but the thing is, it's convenient. And I have to say though, I had lots of people that came to my shop every week to check if I had anything new. And there was quite a few people they're just not enough to sustain my business. Also, I was very well located, close to the castle in town, and so it was also like seasonal because um, in summertime, when all the Portuguese people that live abroad would come and go to my shop to get a souvenir and take back where they live, mostly France, Switzerland, the Netherlands, so many places where there's lots of Portuguese people, Germany, the US, yeah. American Portuguese people are really good buyers. They just, in Portugal, you know, people don't have that much spare money to spend on some handicraft. Okay, so I mean, there were other things that were a bit annoying. Like, I was always stuck in the shop, and I was there sometimes and there was like no one the whole day. Like, if it's stormy, which is most days in winter here. If you don't know, I live in the highlands in Portugal. I'm 10 minutes away from Spain, from Galicia. And yeah, it's very remote here, but it's lovely. I love it. Lots of mosquitoes though. Yeah, so yeah, it's more of a seasonal thing, but I still had to pay rent for the whole year, and in June I was due to renew my contract just before summer as well, because when I opened the shop was just before summer, because I wanted to get the, you know, the influx of tourists. But that means that it finished in summer as well. I had my shop for 2 years. It was a lovely experience. It was very romantic at times, very stressful at times, but calming, and it was so nice. But I was stuck in the shop all the time, and I saw people passing back and forth, and I just felt like I was missing on the nature, going to places, and also there were a lot of people that came to my shop just to gossip, and I don't have it in me to be harsh with people, you know. And a lot of people are lonely, and they're quite old, and you know, and they came to my shop for us to just, I don't know, to have a chit chat. But some of the things they would say, they would tell, they're getting water from the dam to put out the fires. Anyway, sometimes some of the stories they would tell me, I would like be thinking about them all the time, like some traumatic stuff that was weighing on me, to be honest. I'm not a therapist, but people always feel like they have to unburden themselves on me for some reason. Like, random people just come to me and start chatting and telling me about their lives. Does this happen to everyone? Like, I remember even when I lived in the UK and I was just waiting for the bus or for the train, and someone would sit next to me and just randomly start telling me all these things. And I'm like, do I look like a therapist? Like, do I look like someone you can tell everything? I don't know. I just... Oh gosh, massive bug. Some bugs, I'm like, oh, what are they? Anyways, yeah, so basically there were a few bits and bobs I didn't like about having a shop, but you know, I was so privileged. I even got to open a shop. That's ridiculous. I opened it with very little money as well, because up here things are not, property is not as expensive, and I had lots of advantages because my landlord really liked me and she facilitated a lot of things, you know. So I was very lucky, and I was there sometimes raining, snowing, outside, blustery weather, and I was there and I was just wishing that I was in a place like this, like I am now. It's funny, isn't it? I remember being in England and dreaming of being in the countryside. It doesn't matter what country, really. I would have loved to live in the countryside in the UK, but it was just not feasible for us. So we decided to go abroad, and since we are from Portugal and we have the language advantage, we decided to come to Portugal. I just have to say, my life looks nothing like I want it to look. We live in a house that from the second year we were there, it started giving us so much trouble. Okay, it's very damp, it's cold, and the layout is so weird. But there's so many things that didn't go as planned, and we're still in the same house. Not a lot of houses of like places with the space that we need for the children and the animals and stuff are available to rent up here. And also our landlord is quite attentive. He's quite attentive. We're stuck in that house for the time being, which is fine. I don't know. I don't know if you watched that show, The Jurels. They were living in Greece and their house was like falling apart. But I used to think it's so romantic that the house was falling apart, and because it was an old house and it looked so shabby, but it kind of added to the charm, if you know what I mean. Well, mine is not old. It used to be an old house, but they remade the whole thing, and now it's looking very modern, which is something that I wasn't looking for. But at the same time, doesn't have any heating and ventilation. I don't think it was made to be lived in permanently, you know what I mean? I think he had it just for the summer holidays or something. We struggle a lot in winter in that house. Things are not perfect in the slightest, but I have moments where I feel so privileged and so happy that we had the courage to do this. Thank goodness we didn't know what we were getting ourselves into. If I would know, probably wouldn't have done it. I don't know, because it's not about me, it's about my children. I was in Lisbon 2 weeks ago. Wait, less than 2 weeks ago. And it was lovely. I get to see my family all the time and just be in familiar places, you know, and stuff like that. But I was so happy to come back. And now it's the end of summer and most people are gone back to the countries where they live, and everything is so quiet and so nice, and I love it. And I feel a bit silly because I'm a grown-up, like I'm a middle-aged woman, and I should behave like such and have a nicely paying job and take one holiday a year or two if I'm lucky, and just do things normally. But the problem is I don't want, and it's so indulgent. I feel indulgent sometimes, like, why should I get to have what a lot of people want but they can never have, or they have no courage to abdicate to so many things that come with the security of having a normal job. I feel caged if I have to be in the same place all the time, unless it's my home. I love being home. I'm conflicted all the time because that's what I want. I want to have flexibility. I want to have freedom. Don't we all? We all do. But I also want money. Not a lot. I don't need a lot. In fact, I can live off very little money because I really value freedom and nature, simplicity, handmade things, home cooked meals, homegrown. Sorry, I keep getting distracted with the beauty around me. There's so many ferns. The temperature is so nice here. It's very hot in the sun, but here where I am, in the shade of these trees, I longed so much to be where I am right now. And I know so many people long to be in nature, in calm, in solitude, and they cannot find a way. Sometimes dreams, they seem so far away because we want to make our dreams come true in a certain way, but sometimes we have to be more flexible. We just have to adapt and think of a way to do it that is suited to our situation. And I feel like sometimes idealizing things to go exactly how we want them to go is not feasible, because it doesn't just depend on us, it depends on many factors. But yeah, the only thing that's missing, there's so many things missing, but yeah, I have to find a way to make a living. That's it. That makes me happy, and I want to keep this lifestyle. I want to stay in the countryside. Not just any countryside. I like this countryside because it's very, very remote, and I love that. I love it. I've got a few ideas that I want to put into practice in the near future. I just have to find a way, and I'll keep you posted and updated. Thank you so much for listening to me blabbering on. I just thought, since I've walked this much to be in this forest, I might as well get my camera and chat. Maybe some of you are wondering what happened after I moved here. So many things, and not much at the same time. One thing that I think a lot is, if you want to live a certain way, you have to realize that you're going to abdicate something. And I did abdicate convenience, and I just know that living out here is, I'm not gonna call an Uber, I'm not gonna call I don't know, whatever app people get to get some takeaway. There's no takeaways here. Well, I mean, I guess you can go to a restaurant and ask to go and pick it up, but they don't deliver it to you. It's not visible because every village is so far apart, far away from each other, you know. And yeah, it's just not visible at all. anyways, I'm very happy I got to do this because that's something I wanted to do for a while. I wanted to just take the camera and have an impromptu chat about things. I'm not quite sure if I made any sense. My thoughts are a bit scattered. I didn't really make notes or anything to speak about, but I don't know, I'm just looking forward to staying here. Ow, 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 ow. My leg is literally sleeping, and I want to show you the shoes that I came in. Look, these espadrilles, and look what I realized. There's a hole, and there's a hole on this one as well. I don't know if you can see. So basically, also I had to step onto some bogs, and it was very wet, and these shoes are not waterproof whatsoever, so that wasn't a good idea. Look at the ferns. Look at these beautiful ferns. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a lovely day. Bye.